What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam, this is Vancity Audi, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Stage 1 Black Forest Industries engine mounts, as well as their transmission insert for my B8 S4. I've put on a couple thousand kilometers on them now, so I have a pretty good vibe and a pretty good feeling on how these mounts and the insert have affected the performance of the vehicle, as well as the NVH of the vehicle. For those of you that aren't aware, NVH stands for noise, vibration, and harshness, and that is very often referred to in terms of how the car feels, how it vibrates, how it moves, how it jitters when you change things like mounts. It'll really stiffen the car up, or it'll make it looser depending on how we're going, tighter or looser depending. I went significantly tighter, as I found out after driving the car for a bit, now that I have these engine mounts installed. In today's video, I'm gonna go over the pros and the cons. I always try to give you guys my honest feedback on the parts that I use, so you guys can make better informed decisions on whether it's something that you wanna put on your car as well. We're gonna start out the video with the cons, and we'll finish off at a high note and finish off with the pros at the end. We'll start off with the worst of the worst, and the thing that I cannot get over, and that is NVH at idle. Holy vibrating butthole, Batman. I have never felt more NVH in any car I've ever driven than in this B8 S4 with these Stage 1 engine mounts as I do in this one. It's mental. The car idles at about, I don't know, 625 RPM, 650 RPM, and the whole car vibrates. You get it vibrating through your seat, you get it vibrating through your pedals. I know my car has had some wear and tear on it. It's not the newest of versions. It's a 2012 model, so it's not a B8.5. But there's little vibrations here and there, and you can really feel it. If you are extremely sensitive to the vibrations your car makes at idle, these are not the mounts for you. I can tell you that right now. I was very surprised by how much vibration there is at idle. I would think there'd be some, for sure. If you guys watched my previous video and you saw those OEM engine mounts that I pulled out of the car, those things were destroyed. They were cracked. And I imagine that a lot of people with the same amount of kilometers or miles as my car does, or more, would have even worse OEM mounts at that point. Probably further destroyed than mine were. So the difference between those OEM worn out mounts compared to these brand new Stage 1 mounts is huge. I went from tons of slop to absolutely none. So besides the vibrations that you get at idle, what about while you're driving? Just regular, everyday, daily driving. That is what I use my B8 for. As much as I have fun, and I will be racing the car, this is what I use Monday to Friday to get to and from work. When I run errands, this is the car that I'm using. So the majority of people are not going to want a super vibrating vehicle while they're doing their daily commute. I'm in motion right now. I'm going about 60, 70 kilometers an hour, and you feel a little bit of vibration through the pedals, as one would expect with stiffer mounts. A little bit of vibration through the steering wheel as well, but nothing really through the seat. So you're gonna get bits and pieces of vibration, usually through those 3 points. It's usually your seat, it's usually your steering wheel, or it is your pedals through your feet. At least that's what I've noticed. And you get a little bit just through your standard run-of-the-mill driving. Not to the point where it's irritating or frustrating or annoying, it's just there. So if you're expecting a vibration-free environment on these Stage 1 mounts, it causes more vibration. End of story. For your spirited driving, for your aggressive driving, wow. Do I just get right into the pros right away then? It's crazy good. Everything feels so tight and so locked down. Your gear shifts, I have to imagine this is primarily due to the transmission insert, are crazy responsive now. You downshift, and then you're on it. I mean, why not now? Oh, buddy. So good. Ba, ba, ba. It's super rapid. Where you notice it most is when you actually do a quarter-mile run, because everything is being asked the utmost of it. It's 110%. Just give me everything. And it locks everything down, makes those gear shifts just snap, 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 because there isn't all this shifting of the engine. There isn't this transmission slop that you get without that transmission insert installed. It's certainly a little wet out here, so we're not going to be able to experience the full thrill of these mounts holding everything together. But I'm going to launch the car, do a quick pull, and hopefully demonstrate just everything being super snappy and responsive. I left traction control a little bit on, because it needs help. But it just feels that much snappier. It could also be that this integrated engineering stage 1 ECU and TCU tune are wicked, but that's not what this video is about. So I've discussed the fact that you get a ton of NVH on idle. I've also briefly mentioned you get a bit through the steering wheel, through the seat, and through your pedals on daily driving, just as you drive throughout your commute, on your way to work, whatever it may be. And then I've just showcased that it makes the car feel super snappy and responsive with that much less drivetrain slop, and the transmission insert and engine mounts holding everything in a much firmer, snugger position. What I'm going to discuss now is whether these things are worth it. To the everyday person that just wants their car as a daily driver, but to increase the performance, it's a tough one. It honestly is. I don't know whether that NVH is going to outweigh the performance benefits for someone that just uses their car and wants it to be a spirited driver, doesn't want to go crazy all out. It's a tough one, because at idle there is a lot of NVH. For someone that values performance though, and performance above all else like I do, 100% these things were worth it. It just makes the car feel that much more held together. So what I'm going to show you now is the engine bay, before and after we installed these engine mounts. Before we installed the engine mounts, you can really see the movement of the engine shift left and right when I rev the engine. I've shown this in previous videos to highlight the supercharger whine I am getting now with this intake system from Integrated Engineering. But what I'm going to do is I'll show you after the install footage as well, from the exact same angle. And you'll be able to see very, very easily just how much it controls the engine movement and prevents it from shifting all over the place with these stiffer mounts installed. In the end, why you all tuned into this video is to find out whether these are worth it or not. As I've previously mentioned, if you're a guy that just wants to slightly increase the performance of your car, but you're very sensitive to NVH, I can't necessarily recommend them to you guys, because of the fact that idle, there is so much vibration. For those of you that love performance, and performance is king, there is no doubt in my mind you will love the firmness and the lockdown feeling that you get, the control you get from these engine mounts and transmission insert from Black Forest Industries. They have been awesome so far, except of course for the crazy NVH at idle. And I just want to highlight the fact that not everything I put on my car works as well as I want it to. I do these reviews, and a lot of the time they are positive because I block out and I choose good companies to work with and to use their parts on my car, but sometimes they aren't always perfect, and I do my best to highlight the pros and the cons to show that I'm not all fluff and that I actually provide real reviews, real feedback on these parts. I'm gonna enjoy them in the quarter mile because I know they're gonna make my car snappier, more responsive, and most definitely better on launch. So I really don't care. Thank you all for watching. I really hope this feedback and my comments will help you in your purchasing decision on whether these Black Forest Industries Stage 1 mounts and transmission insert are right for you and your B8 S4. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, take care.